忍びの時代は終わる。
螺旋が。
So welcome back again, Data Bio. Probably in about 4 to 5 days, we will get a page 1 leak for chapter 18. And so far we have discussed a lot of speculations about what happened recently. Starting from Jura as a Jubi, from a god who is certainly a different Jubi from the 4th Shinobi War, the biggest reason why Naruto was sealed, and several possibilities that would happen if Koji betrayed Boruto, or it could be said that Koji deliberately allowed a bad destiny to happen to his friends. But there is one very interesting thing for us to discuss, especially Eida. In fact, it is true that Eida is currently teamed up with Koji. But have you ever thought about what made Eida want to collaborate with Koji? Do they share the same goal, or is there perhaps a threat? And could it be that this is why Eida wants to work with Koji, so she can change the future that awaits her, or at least avoid the worst possibilities that might happen? But when it comes to the future, can't Eida herself see some of the worst possibilities that will happen to her, like Momoshiki? We know that Momoshiki himself once admitted that he never imagined and saw that his destiny would lead him like this. And is Eida just like Momoshiki? The point is, they can see what happens to everyone, but they can't see a destiny that will happen to themselves. But if that's the case, it really does make a lot of sense, doesn't it? And it can be said, as a person who can see the future, they can only see some of the worst possibilities that will happen in the future to everyone, but they themselves cannot see a destiny that will happen to themselves. And again, this ability is certainly very great, isn't it? But is the ability said to be perfect until it does not have a flaw? Perhaps if we think that this ability is perfect and has no flaws or weaknesses, of course this is very impossible. Even Itachi himself once said that there is no ability, jutsu, or technique that does not have weaknesses or flaws. So, what do you think made Eida want to work with Koji? But besides that, is there a possibility that Eida will become a traitor later? The point is, Koji's current identity is not widely known. Even Amado himself had said that he did not know why Boruto could know everything about Kawaki, including his adjusted strength. Even Amado also briefly mentioned the question of Koji being alive or not. Because if Koji is actually alive, Amado really doesn't understand what his purpose has been hiding behind the scenes. And behind it all, it means that no one but Eida knows who Boruto's partner is and what kind of power he has. Because in fact, Amado also doesn't know if it's Koji or not. But if the problem of Koji's identity is still hidden, is it possible that Code will carry out a strategy where he will meet with Eida to help him provide information about Boruto and his allies? And the plot twist, can Code use Mamushi as a companion, or can it be said to be a partner? And is it possible that Code can control Mamushi as the embodiment of the bug itself? If the point is control, I still doubt whether this applies to Jura. But if the one being controlled is a Mamushi, is this possible and reasonable? Because after all, the beginning of them becoming what they are today is thanks to Code claw marks mixed with black rods and blood, right? In addition, with Mamushi around, Code could focus on kidnapping Eida. Maybe you will think that this is something impossible and does not make sense, especially if Eida is currently always with demons. But believe it or not, if Eida refuses Code's request, he will be desperate to do that, because basically, Code will do whatever it takes to get the chakra fruit. One of his current paths is to find where Boruto and his partner are through Eida. And if Damon gets in the way, this is where Mamushi's job will be to distract Damon. But at the very least, Mamushi could buy time for Code to kidnap Eida. Some scenarios are sometimes difficult to happen, but nothing is impossible if Code can control Mamushi. It seemed impossible that Code could control the tree people. But if it's Jura, I'm sure it's impossible. Especially since Jura is a pure reincarnation of the 10 tails themselves. As for Mamushi, he was the manifestation of a bug. The possibility of Code being able to control them is indeed something impossible, especially if the Shinju have awakened their ego. But if Code could influence their minds and find another solution to controlling Shinju, this would certainly be an advantage for Code. But guys, actually besides Code, have you ever thought about why Koji, as someone who can see fate, doesn't say much about Boruto, especially Jura, who suddenly targeted his little sister? And of course, there are still so many mysteries and secrets that Koji hasn't fully revealed. It's as if he has to let certain possibilities happen based on the predetermined lines of fate. But I don't consider that entirely wrong. and naturally, by allowing some of the worst possibilities to unfold. One of them is Koji's capacity, which inevitably requires sacrificing certain aspects of life that should be preserved. There's a selection of fate that must be chosen so that the future aligns, at least with the ideal it's supposed to be. Perhaps, as a drawback, many things will have to be sacrificed, be it friends or even family. But this isn't about Koji's friends or family. More precisely, it's Boruto's friends and family who must be sacrificed. Because if Koji tries to save everyone important to Boruto, it would ultimately backfire on Boruto himself. And it makes perfect sense for Koji to say that the mission currently being carried out by Team 7 does not have a high enough percentage of success. Oh yeah, back to Eida. There seems to be another reason why Koji did not let Boruto go to the battlefield. The worst that could happen in Konoha is that Eida is in danger. For example, if Code suddenly kidnaps her. Koji probably wanted Boruto to stay in place to do something more important, which was to prevent Aida's abduction by Code. If Boruto chooses to save his friends over ensuring Aida's safety, bad things could happen in the future. Perhaps this is also the reason why Kishimoto and Mikio gave Mamushi a turn in the last part of All the Divine Tree People. The reason is because Mamushi's target can determine Boruto's fate in the next few chapters. Matsuri got the third debut after Hidari and Jura because Hidari accompanied Jura to Konoha village. Hidari's presence is also the first step for Boruto to save Sasuke. After Matsuri, Mamushi is likely to start moving. I'm sure Mamushi's movements will coincide with Code's. Come to think of it, if Matsuri and Ryu fail to find Boruto, Jura will probably need Aida's power to find out the location of Boruto and his friends. During this time, Shinju always moves in two places at once. For example, when Boruto was fighting with Hidari and Jura, Matsuri was apparently moving to find Boruto's allies at the same time. So if Matsuri is now moving further with Ryu, it is likely that Mamushi will also move soon. The goal is probably to target Eida. I don't mind if you think this doesn't make sense, but if we observe the patterns, it seems that the Shinju always divide tasks to carry out their missions and achieve their goals. However, if Code succeeds in kidnapping Eida, Boruto's position, especially Koji's, will be in great danger. Eida, under pressure, might have no other choice but to reveal secrets about Koji. So how important is Aida's role right now? And does she also have the potential to betray Koji if she's forced into such a situation? I'm waiting for your thoughts, guys. Thank you to everyone who has liked and subs. I'm Nim. See you in the next episode. Bye-bye, Dadabayo.